What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Chase, and I saw it. I finally saw Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, because that's the title. I gotta say, I liked it. I really liked it. It was a good movie. I really enjoyed the whole experience of it. It was very action packed, and I thought it was pretty funny. There were some jokes that didn't land, but overall, I thought it was pretty funny. So let's just answer the question right off the bat. Was this movie woke? And I would answer no, it wasn't. It was just a good hearted movie. You could tell a lot of people put their creativity into this. If they just didn't do their stupid woke marketing, shut Ewan McGregor up, shut up the cast, stop saying this is a feminist film and it tackles misogyny. Nobody wants to see that, and I'm not going to get into that because I watch my last video if you want me to rant on that. This movie would have been successful financially if they had just left all that away. Keep that away, because it's a successful film. It's a very creative film, and I really like it. Getting into the actual just story of the film. By the way, there is spoilers, so if you haven't seen that, which there's a good chance you probably haven't, there's spoilers in this, so watch if you want. This movie is told from the perspective of Harley Quinn. This is very much her story. It's her movie. A lot of people in reviews that I saw, they had a real problem with how Harley will jump back and forth from what is the present to the past. And for like 15 minutes, you're in the past, and then all of a sudden you get jerked back to the present. And it's very just back and forth, and it can get confusing. I'll admit, there was a little points in time where I got a little lost, but not enough to be completely lost. I got back on track. It was very Harley Quinn in that respect. That's how she would tell a story. So I really liked how it actually flowed. It flowed really nice. I didn't feel like there was any real lulls in it. The action sequences, let's just get into that.
Nothing gets a guy's attention like violence.
My favorite scene is when she enters the police station and goes to town. That is, oh, I love that scene so much. I could watch that scene a lot of times before I got bored of it. Because she goes in and she does all of her acrobatic stuff, and it's just full of color. When she gets into the evidence locker room, that's my absolute favorite. And she gets her baseball bat and she just starts wailing on dudes, and it looks so good. Like, there's this one scene where she breaks this dude's leg one way and then swings around and breaks the same leg the other way, and the dude just like crumples onto his leg, and it's so just like wow. And that's very John Wickish, you could say, which makes sense because of his influence in that movie. I really loved all the action sequences, even the action sequence that I kind of made fun of in one video, where they're on that rotating carousel or whatever it is, that platform, and they're fighting, and it looks, you can start kind of telling it's a little stage. Even that sequence looked really cool. Oh, and Harley Quinn does one of my favorite moves. Like, she's using her mallet through most all of her fighting, which I love because that is the weapon she is known for, is her mallet. And so I'm so glad that she used that a lot in this movie. But she does one where she jumps up into the air and does the splits and then smashes the guy's head down below. Oh, I was so glad. It's very quick, and you would probably miss it if you just weren't really paying attention. But I'm so glad they added that because that is such a trademark move of hers. I just want to say, concerning Margot Robbie's character, Harley Quinn. She really just does such a great job in that role. Even in small moments where you really shouldn't care, I guess you could say, or it's not something that was unexpected. Or what I'm getting at is there's a scene where the one and only confidant that she really has in that entire movie is this guy named Doc. And she rents the apartment that's above his Asian food shop. And Doc sells her out. And there's this scene where she's talking to Doc and he's like packing up because he sold her out. He got money for it and he's leaving. And she's crying. And you're like, and you really feel for her. You're like, yeah, Doc, that was jacked up, man. And it's just those little moments, man, where she just really sells that character that she's playing of Harley Quinn, and I just loved it. Which is funny because as most men in this movie are bad, that was the one guy where you're like, okay, there's some saving grace. And then it turns out, yeah, he just sold her out. Ewan McGregor is Black Mask in this movie, which he does a really great job. Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't really know Black Mask all that well from the comics, so I don't really have anything to compare him to. I thought he did really great. He was very unlike most villains that you find. And I thought that was actually kind of refreshing. Like it wasn't like a world domination quest. It was just he wanted more money and grow his little empire that he has. And the way he died was perfect, man. It was Looney Tunes, you could say, because he just gets kind of blown in half. Again, with this woke marketing, they literally did a J.K. Rowling on Black Mask and Victor Zsasz. Basically, when this movie was wrapped up, one of the things they did was say, hey, Black Mask and Victor Zsasz are actually gay. You watch this movie, they are totally not gay. Their relationship is literally like Mr. Burns and Smithers. Now, I get Smithers is gay in The Simpsons, but what I'm saying is, like, that was the kind of relationship they had. That was it. Or a better example would be like Dwight Schrute and Michael Scott from The Office. Like, that was their relationship. The only relationship Black Mask has is probably with himself. He is so narcissistic and into his own self that that's the only relationship he had. So let's talk about the characters in the film, starting with my personal favorite outside of Harley Quinn. My next favorite character would be Huntress. I really liked her. I liked her backstory. She was part of the I can't remember the name of the family that got murdered, and then one of the people that was part of it actually took her to his brother and his dad, and she was raised to basically be an assassin. And so she has a really cool, kind of funny arc where her social skills are very inept. And then you have Black Canary, which honestly, I really didn't care for her character. I never really bonded in any way to her character. I thought she was just really stale. And then Renee Montoya, they kind of do this joke about her being this 80s cop, and the sayings that she always says are like from 80s movies. And at first it's funny, and then it kind of gets, the joke wears out because they keep going back and making that joke, and you're like, okay, we get it. There's really nothing else interesting about her. We get it. And then you have Cassandra Cain, which I am so sad. I'm sad what they did with her. They completely retconned her character. Whatever that was not Cassandra Cain. Cassandra Cain in the comics is actually an assassin as well. She was trained, and she is actually mute because she was never allowed to speak or have any social interaction. She was just trained strictly to be a ninja, basically. When I say that now, it sounds like that's why they did what they did with Cassandra Cain, because that's basically Huntress's story. So you can't really have two. So in my opinion, they should have just done a whole different character for Cassandra Cain and not used her, because she could easily be saved for later. But she eventually becomes Batgirl at one point. Regardless, nobody wants Cassandra Cain as Batgirl anyway. Everybody's waiting for Babs, which is Barbara Gordon. That's who everybody wants to see as Batgirl. That's who I'm waiting for to see as Batgirl. We'll wait for that. One thing I want to say is that Warner Brothers and DC, I'm really happy that they're just going their own way. They were trying to be like Marvel and build this DC universe, and it just wasn't working. And I'm really glad that they have just kind of, you know what, let's just do movies. Because if you go look at Marvel movies, don't get me wrong, I really like them. They're fun to watch, but they all have the same feeling in most all of them. And there isn't really a creative difference between them. And for good reason. Like they're trying to make it all cohesive. Warner Brothers really gives their creatives a lot of room for creativity. You know, you look at Shazam, you know, the movie everybody forgets until somebody actually says the name. That's how it is for me. I never remember that movie until somebody says it. I'm like, oh yeah, that was a movie, wasn't it? And it's so different from Joker. And Joker is very different from Birds of Prey. And Birds of Prey, honestly, is really different from Suicide Squad, even though it is really a sequel from that movie. I really like how they just give this creative slate to the director and the writers and the cinematographers to create a story, and it's really refreshing. I hope they continue down this road. And they seems like they probably will, because I'm more than positive James Gunn's The Suicide Squad is going to be really different from Birds of Prey, because each one has its own flavor. You know, David Sandberg with Shazam, and Kathy Yan with Birds of Prey, Todd Phillips with Joker. Each one is different, and it's its own art piece. Overall, like I said, I really like this movie. I honestly would highly recommend going to see it. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and I would definitely see it again. So if you're not seeing Sonic, go see Birds of Prey. Thank you guys for watching and supporting this channel. And if you have not already, subscribe down below and let me know your thoughts. Whether you liked it, whether you hated it, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And as always, peace out.